Hello everyone, we're going to go ahead and create a Aspire name tag using a duck bitmap, and I'm going to show you how to use all the simple functions Aspire has to offer. Let's go ahead and activate Aspire. Go to create new file, and this right here is the job setup. This is where you create the size of your workspace and all that good stuff. The job space that we're going to be working with is a 4x4, so you're going to want to click here, put 4 on both for the width and height. The thickness you really don't have to, that's not really important right now. The XY data position is basically the point where all your stuff, whenever you add it, whether it's bitmap, text, or other shapes, it's going to come out here in the center. You can hit in transition from right, top left, bottom left, or bottom right, and center. It's best to use it as center, that way everything that you add shows up right here already. For right now, the units leave them in inches, and that'll change towards the end of this video, and I'll explain that later. But for right now, leave it inches, press OK. Now you want to create the border of your name tag itself. So under create vectors, go to draw rectangle, and the width, it's going to be 3.5 inches, and your height is going to be 2. You're going to want it radial external, just because it gives it a nice curve, and press create, and there you go. Go ahead and press close. Always close your commands, because if you press escape, it's not going to go through. Alright, now that we have the border of our rectangle, let's go ahead and add the hole. The hole is going to be 0.125 inches in diameter, and it's going to be 0.1125 inches away from this left side. So first, we need to draw a rectangle. Change it to 0.125 inches in width, 0.125 inches in height, create, and close. Now we're going to want to move it to the left, click it multiple times until this square of squares come out. Go ahead and grab the middle square and drag it along to the side. There you go. Actually, let's fix it a little bit. There you go. Alright. So it's a little bit more. There. Alright. Now let's go ahead and draw the hole. Go to create vectors, draw a circle, and the diameter, make sure it's in the diameter, and 0.125 inches in diameter. Go ahead and create, close, click it multiple times. There we go. And put it to the edge right there. Now that you have 0.125 inches from the left side to the side of the circle, you can go ahead and delete your square. To delete, you just click it till it highlights, and then on your keyboard you can press delete. Now that we have our hole there, the whole point of this hole is the laser cutter is going to cut right into this, because that's what this file is for, is to use the laser cutter. It's going to cut right into this, and it's going to be used for like a chain or anything that you use to hang this name tag with. Let's go ahead and add our picture. So go under create vectors, go to, actually no, that's actually wrong. Let's go to file, import, and import bitmap. Go ahead and find your bitmap. You can use whatever picture you want, just as long as it's a JPEG. Any JPEG file is going to be accessible by doing the step I did, by going and importing a bitmap. Go ahead and click on your duck, open it up. There's our image. Let's go ahead and resize it. If you notice, it did pop out in the middle, which is super helpful, or at least in my opinion. And click it multiple times. There we go. Try to resize it, try to center it, make it look nice. Always keep in mind to never have to be aware of your edges, because the laser cutter is only so accurate. So if the edge of your bitmap is too close to the edge of the piece, it might screw it up. So always try to keep it a distance, but to where it still looks nice. So that's a pretty good place to put it. Now keep your image highlighted and go to create vectors this time. Go to trace bitmap. You have the option to color or black and white, but since it's all mostly black and white, let's just do black and white. The number of colors and threshold is basically how much colors are in the image that you can add, and you can keep going, and if you notice, it starts to add little fuzzy things. That's all the color that's there that's in the background that we don't notice. So let's go ahead and eliminate that, and I think leaving it at 0.90 is pretty good. You can still see the details of the lines, and they're clear. Corner fit and noise filter is not really necessary, but the bitmap fading, you could if you notice the image fade, the bitmap is fading, but the JPEG that we added there is still there. And watch it do the opposite. And now the image is in the front and the JPEG is in the back. So let's go ahead and I think 52% is what I had last time. This command gives you the option to preview. So if you don't like the way it came out, you don't have to worry, because you could automatically edit that. Let's go preview, and if you notice, it already did the outline. It's looking good so far. If we like it, go ahead and press apply. If we don't, feel free to move around, move the corner fit, noise filter, bitmap fading, or the threshold, and always press preview so you can see it at least once. Go ahead and press close. The image is on top, so you want to move it and delete it. And there you go. You have the trace of your image. And what you want to do, or what you could do, is you can highlight the whole thing, click it a couple of times, and stretch it just a little bit. That way you can get more image. There you go. Now it's time to add text. The best way to add text is to offset a small box. That way you can add text into that box, you raise the box, and it looks real nice. Because if you if you add the text into this box, for some reason it makes it big. I'm not exactly sure why, but it does. So let's go ahead and go to offset array and nest, and under that offset select vectors, we choose this one, that one we're working with, and you have the option to go outwards, inwards, or both. We want to go inwards. 0.75 inches is a good enough distance from this rectangle. So go ahead, offset, close. Go ahead and move your rectangle there. It's okay to have it close because we're gonna erase the rectangle anyways. But we can also do just move the rectangle, highlight our image or our bitmap, and just shorten it down a little. There you go. Alright, now under create vectors, there's draw text within a vector. It's going to have a T with the box dashed around it. Go ahead and press that. Click on your box. And here in the text is where you can add your text. And I put got any grapes, because that's a funny joke that my wife told me, and a funny video if you ever want to look it up. And here you could choose different types of font styles. The one I decided to go with is a Sigwo UI Black. It's a funny looking one. You have options to bold or italicize your text, or to change the alignment. The bounding box dimensions is basically whatever box you have highlighted, it shows you the dimensions right here. Margin size you can change whenever you want. Same with vertical and horizontal stretch. You can do those manually, but you could also do them here too. Let's go ahead and press apply, and there they are. Not too big over here and not anything, and not too big where it covers the whole bitmap. It's a good enough space. Always press close, finish your command. Go ahead and delete your rectangle. And the change, if you don't like you think it's too small, go ahead and highlight the whole thing. Click it multiple times and go ahead and change the size. This is manually doing that. You're manually stretching it. And that's pretty much it for this portion. I showed you how to create your job site and the rectangle of your name tag, how to add text. The easiest way to add text by offsetting a box, a smaller box. That way you can later on erase the box and stretch out your text. How to stretch out your image after bitmapping it and how to trace it. How to import your bitmap. And now it's time to save. So go to File, Save As. You can save it anywhere. I'm going to save it on Documents just because. New Duck Project. Or you know what? You could probably be best to just put your name, the first initial, and then your last name. And then you can type whatever you want. Duck Project. Alright. Always important to save it as a regular file. Because when you save it as a regular file, you have a chance to redeem yourself. Because if you change it to the DXF file, which I'm going to show you right now, and if you go up to the laser cutter, and if there's an error, you can't always fix it on the laser cutter computer. So you're going to have to go back and go to your regular drawing. And if you don't have a regular, that means you have to start from scratch. There's no way to change it from a DXF file to a regular file. So it's always smart to have both saved nearby. So now that we saved it as a regular file, we'll go to Job Setup and change this thing to millimeters. Press OK. And after that, after change to millimeters, you can go ahead and go to Edit, select all vectors, and instead of going to Save As, we're going to go to Export and select vectors to DXF. Now you can change the name if you want, but now you can go ahead and save. And now you have both a regular file and a DXF file. Like I said before, the DXF is going to be in millimeters, so that will mean the laser printer can read it. And if there's a mistake that you find on the laser printer, you can always come back to Aspire, upload your regular file, and go ahead and make your edits. And every time you edit something, you're going to have to go through the same thing. Highlight, select the vectors, export to DXF, and that's just the way it is. And I hope this video is helpful. We covered a lot of things, how to use some commands on the create vectors and the offset array and nest, and how to save both regular and DXF files. Thank you.